Hey everyone, we're going to talk today about rinseless and waterless wash. They're two separate things. Sometimes they're used interchangeably, but they're not. They're different. And by the end of this video, you're going to know the difference between the two methods, and you're going to know how to do it on your vehicle. And you can thank Mark from Mark's Mobile Detailing at Detailing Tips and Tricks Facebook group for asking me to do this video. He's the sole reason you're getting to watch me today. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is our #1 rule of thumb, and that is every time you touch the vehicle's paint, you risk scratching the paint, and anytime you apply any pressure, you risk scratching the paint. So if you consider, we touch the paint as little as possible and with as least amount of pressure as possible, overall we're going to be more successful and less scratching of the paint. So keep that in the back of your mind. It'll help you when you're working on vehicles. So the first thing that we need to talk about when it comes to the supplies that we need is the actual concentrate, of course. So we use American Detailer Garage Wipeout. It can be diluted for rinseless and waterless wash, and we use a delivery mechanism. We use a pump sprayer from dirty-tools.com. Our friend Mike Sanchez in the PPF industry supplies these. So that's what we use to mix the concentrate and what we use to spray it onto the surface of the vehicle. And then we have some towels that we're going to talk about, and we get all of our towels from Auto Fiber. We've been using Auto Fiber forever, so I'm going to talk Auto Fiber because that's what I know. So Auto Fiber makes a couple towels that we're going to talk about. One is the Dreadnought. It's got a bigger pile. You can see this here. And so this is a great drying towel. They also make a version called the Amphibian, which is basically the same thing, but on the other side, it's a plush microfiber. So we got this. We got Korean plush towels. We use these a lot. We have this drying towel. It's called a Mother Fluffer. So we're going to use this. And then for rinseless wash, they make a double flip towel, which has a great seam. It's super smooth. It's not going to scratch the paint. And I'm going to explain why these are great towels in a short minute. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the somewhat, I guess you could say, simpler method or less steps method, and that is waterless wash. So waterless wash is we are spraying a semi-dirty. It can't be, none of this can be used on a super dirty vehicle. The rinseless wash can be used on a slightly dirtier vehicle, but both rinseless and waterless wash we want to only use if it's only slightly dirty. Okay, so this is our BMW i8. It's fully covered in clear bra, so we can be a little bit more aggressive, but we're not going to for the demonstration of this video. We're going to demonstrate as if it doesn't have clear bra on it. So waterless wash is meant to be, you're spraying it on a panel that's completely dry and maybe a little bit dirty, and then you're wiping it off, buffing it off, and you're done. So we're going to show you that first, and then I'm going to show you after that, so stick around because I'm going to show you after that. I'm going to show you rinseless wash. So waterless wash, what we have is we're going to dilute it per the instructions on the bottle, and if you don't use American Detailer Garage, just follow the instructions on the bottle. Now, a little tip that we like to put out is we always use more concentrate than the recipe calls for or the mixture ratio calls for, just because we would rather use a little bit more product and have a little bit more lubrication and go through the product a little bit faster than, increase our chances of scratching the vehicle at all. So for a waterless wash system, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the panel down pretty excessively, and this concentrate is going to lift the dirt off the surface and make it easier to remove and therefore less likely to scratch. Okay, so I'm going to use the Dreadnought that we talked about, and I'm going to show you this is so, I'm going to hold it with my thumb and my forefinger here, or and I'm going to drag it across the surface. And see, that allows me some self-control, so to speak, where I'm not putting as much pressure. I can't really use any pressure here, right? So this goes back to my #1 rule of thumb. If I do this, I'm putting almost no pressure on the surface, as opposed to wiping the vehicle, okay? So I'm gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna come behind it, and I'm gonna buff it off with a microfiber of your choice, as long as it's nice and clean. Okay, and that's gonna get the little bit remainder of the liquid, anything left from the concentrate, or so forth and so on. And another little tip is when we do this, we use all deionized or reverse osmosis water, so there's no chance of water spots, or almost no chance of water spots. Okay, so there you have it. That is the waterless wash method. You notice we sprayed the dry panel, we used almost no pressure. Whatever was left, we buffed it off. All right, next I'm gonna talk about rinseless wash. Okay, rinseless wash. Rinseless wash gets its name because you're not doing a final rinse. Unlike a foam cannon, you know, you spray it down, you got to rinse it off with a hose. Rinseless wash gets its name because we can skip that step. We're going to do kind of what we already did, but we're going to go to a little bit more in depth on that. So for this, we need the same stuff that we already talked about, delivery mechanism and all that stuff, pump sprayer. But what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 buckets. So I use these, you know, whatever generic bucket, but I fill it with these grit guards and this little thing that sprays out water, and I get that from Auto Fiber. And we got 2 of those. We got 2 buckets. This one has deionized water in it, and it's got concentrate in it. So we mix it with the concentrate in the bucket, and then the other bucket we're going to just toss our dirty towels in, and then we're going to use these Auto Fiber double flips that I talked about, and we're going to put them into the bucket with the rinseless wash concentrate in it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have our drying towel handy, right? And we're going to take this, so same kind of steps so far. We're going to liberally spray the panel down. Okay, so in the other step, in the waterless wash, what we did was we immediately buffed it off, we dried it off. But in this step, what we're going to do is we're going to take the double flip towels from Auto Fiber, and we're going to wring them out slightly, and then we are going to wipe the panel down. Now remember, the reason these double flips are great is because you always need to be on a clean part of the towel, so you can always flip it over if it's dirty. Now my car's not that dirty right now because I already washed it, but this is the general gist, okay? And you're going to do it at a panel or so at a time. And then when you're done with that panel, you're going to kind of ditch that that double flip. And next time we do another panel, we're going to use a different double flip. So now we have to dry this off. We're going to use this mother fluffer. And again, we can do a super light panel wipe down. Now there's a little bit of residue left, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same step that I did with the waterless wash. I'm very lightly pressing on this. I'm going to clean the panel. Now we're going to do, for both methods, we're going to do top to bottom and side to side, and that way we're not introducing, you know, if we do this and then we do this, we're not introducing dirt down into this panel. All right, now for this demonstration, I'm only doing it on the hood and the fender because it's closest to the camera, but just know, if you're doing it regular, you're going to start at the top and you're going to work your way down, and you're not going to use the same towels for the wheels that you use for the paint and the paint for the glass and so forth and so on. You're going to use a lot of towels in this method. And, you know, using those towels, you know, you just got to wash them. We use 3D Towel Clean, but, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to use more towels than you would if you did traditional foam cannon 2-bucket method where you're just drying it off afterwards. This is a little bit more, you know, we have to be more cautious, so we're going to go through a little bit more towels. So what I showed you is the difference between the waterless wash, which is the dry panel, no bucket, and the rinseless wash, which has a lot of the same steps as the waterless wash, but it adds kind of a 2-bucket method, and we use the double flips from Auto Fiber, but you could use a microfiber or a sponge and do the same concept, okay? So I hope this answers your questions on rinseless and waterless wash, Mark, and anybody else who's watching this video. And I hope we get more opportunities to do these type of videos on the spot. So feel free to subscribe to us and notify so that you can get notifications of these type of videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.